What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, it has been an absolutely insane MCU year this year already, and it's about to get even more insane with the release of What If, eventually Spider-Man No Way Home, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and with Loki and Wanda doing their best to bust the multiverse wide open. The theories have been by the plenty, where these could lead, what heroes and villains are soon to show up, and of course, what storylines they lead to as well. Now, just yesterday, it was announced that D23 coming to us on November 19th would hold a ton of new reveals as far as upcoming Disney Plus projects for Marvel Studios, but we don't know if that will be a huge slate reveal like the Investors Call Day meeting we had last December. However, the day before, we got a huge article from industry insider Charles Murphy referring to a ton of new projects that have not yet been announced by Marvel officially, and while the D23 reveals have not historically been that large, if there are new projects and they're not due an Investors Day call, that may be the time and place they choose to announce them. That being said, we're going to break down the entirety of this article, react to all the brand new franchises he named, talk about why you can trust this industry insider and this source of information, and of course, talk about where this all leads at the end of the brand new sagas being introduced by the MCU. We're going to break it all down, Marvel Phase 5, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5 now at 900,000 subscribers, as well as Disney Plus subscriptions every week while the shows are live, and announcing some brand new MCU related giveaways once What If goes live in a couple of weeks. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit that subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So obviously, I tell you guys to take everything, especially leaks of this kind and size, with a grain of salt that don't come directly from Marvel Studios. But with industry insiders like Charles Murphy, we have to give them a lot more reverence. This guy's track record over the last 2 years, at least while I've been covering him, is absolutely impeccable. This is the guy who originally leaked that Doctor Strange would have a cameo in WandaVision, and when WandaVision came and went and there was no Doctor Strange appearance, people attacked him over this fact. He dug in, stuck by it, said yes, my source was vetted, was correct. At some point he was supposed to show up, only to have Marvel Studios weeks later officially confirm it. This guy is the real deal. So while I tell you to take everything with a grain of salt, when coming from Charles Murphy, give it just a little more reverence as we dive into this Phase 5 slate reveal. Now, he goes on to say about his own article that he's seen several projects that have been revealed by sites that he trusts, but not yet revealed by trades or Marvel officially. This is that following list. He goes on to qualify that he has no idea if they're for Disney Plus TV series or for films, but that all 10 of them are listed as direct to consumer, which means either Disney Plus or theatrical release. Now, we're going to go straight down the list with each title, and I'm going to annotate them with any additional information I've heard myself or reported on here at Everything Always over the last couple of years, as it may pertain to other rumors about these franchises. The first of which, the X-Men. Now, we've been hearing about the MCU iteration of the X-Men for quite a while now, and even Kevin Feige talked about it in a recent interview, that there have been the preliminary talks, nothing official, but the preliminary talks about how that's going to start up, and they're going to bring them in to the MCU. It also looks like Phase 4 has done a little groundwork for introducing mutants. The first industry insider report we got for an MCU X-Men came late last year, rumoring that the title for the first iteration of the franchise would actually be The Mutants. There were some rumors that it would be a Disney Plus anthology series that would follow each character in episode while bringing together the team. That is purely speculation. However, the title The Mutants has stuck, shown up in a couple of places, and still could be that first title whenever they're introduced or announced in Marvel Phase 5. The second title listed by Charles Murphy is Nova. Richard Rider, that character has been talked about a ton. Even the Russos joked about him as being part of the original Avengers Endgame, or that he was in the final scene, but he was talked about quite a bit by Marvel Studios after Avengers Endgame, and notably, we never saw the destruction of Xandar or the Nova Corps. Back when Thanos was assuming the Power Stone, we simply pick up an Infinity War right after that. I made the point at the time, that's because that's obviously Richard Rider, that's Nova's intro story. They're going to save that on-screen experience for when they finally introduce him in a solo film, and it'll tie it very nicely right back into the Infinity Saga. We'll finally get to see Thanos get the Power Stone and how that all played out. However, it is important to note that while I'm bringing up this origin story, that's actually the origin for Richard Rider, the first introduction and the first iteration of the character in the MCU of Nova. the MCU may choose to go with a different iteration like Sam Alexander so he can be part of the Young Avengers. But again, they may also just end up conflating the character, giving us one version that works in both instances because of where we are right now in the MCU. Speaking of which, the Young Avengers also on this list. I'm not going to say much about it at this point. The rumors have been out there for a couple of years that that's one of the iterations of the Avengers we'll see finally and on Disney Plus. And at this point, they've basically introduced the entire Young Avengers roster already. We only need a couple more characters that are rumored to come, like Hulkling, maybe one or two others, but we've basically got the main lineup for the Young Avengers already in the MCU who have debuted on screen or will by the end of next year. That being said, I find it impossible that they're setting this team up but not actually going to cash in on that. I would assume we'll see the Young Avengers on Disney Plus soon. I have for a while. That brings us to our next title, Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is due for a debut in the MCU sooner than later. We just talked about him earlier this week as possibly being part of the Multiverse of Madness film. That's been a rumor for a while, although I already think that film is going to be packed enough. Introductions of brand new characters like America Chavez and having to find a way to finish the arc for Wanda and Doctor Strange at the same time while involving brand new characters seems like a lot to be bringing in a favorite like Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's probably due his own film, but there are a ton of team-ups left for Ghost Rider in the MCU with brand new characters that are coming in. Midnight Suns, a place for him one way or another. I would doubt we would go that much further without seeing Ghost Rider reintroduced to the MCU, and sadly, no, it will not be the version from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, the next title is going to bring up just a little bit of controversy. I already saw it in some comments some places when we talked about this team last, the Illuminati. Now, they were originally put together by Sorcerer Supreme Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, the King of the Inhumans, which we think we'll learn a little bit about during Ms. Marvel, as they intend to keep her an Inhuman as well, according to rumors, Professor X of the X-Men, Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, Namor the Submariner, who we're going to be introduced to hopefully here in the MCU during Eternals and/or Wakanda Forever, Iron Man, Tony Stark, who we no longer have representing the Avengers. Those were the original six. They also had members like T'Challa, and what I saw in the comments were some of the great stories include Tony Stark and T'Challa. If they're not in the MCU anymore, it's going to be the heart missing of basically the Illuminati. How can you still do that team? Also important things they did, like the Infinity Watch, where they each watched an Infinity Stone, don't really work anymore. All the Infinity Stones, at least our main continuity, have been destroyed. I still think it's super important for them to do the Illuminati. Up until now, we've only had one major MCU team in the MCU. That's the Avengers. It's about to double with the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, then double again with the Inhumans and the X-Men. At some point, it's great to have a mode of communication between leaders of each of the teams. I am going to point out that there was a huge Illuminati Easter egg during Iron Man 2. In the intro, you can see an Illuminati app on his phone as he's hijacking the screens in front of Justin Hammer. Basically, the deal there is that that was seeded early in the MCU. These other superhero teams didn't exist, and while people have come up with fantastic theories as to maybe the Illuminati sort of existing back then, it just doesn't make sense in the context of the MCU, and I think it's one of those things where they let it get in there, but really never did it any justice, and might just let it sit as a reference and not really tie into the existence of an Illuminati all the way back in early MCU Infinity Saga days. Now, the next title is super interesting, and it can go a couple of ways, and I'm going to speculate just a little bit here, but they say that Nomad is an upcoming series for Disney+. Well, actually, he just has it on the list as a possible movie. We've reported on the Nomad title here at the channel before as an actual Disney Plus show that's been in pre-development. We've also talked about the possibility of Steve Rogers. Well, actually, it's been reported out there. Chris Evans signing a contract to return for a future Marvel Studios project. Then we have the rumor of a Nomad Disney Plus series. Now, people have said it's probably been one of the alternate Nomads in the MCU. But the first Nomad was an alternate identity for Steve Rogers, and we assume that when we see Steve Rogers, Chris Evans Steve Rogers at the beginning of Infinity War with the blacked out suit, no stars and stripes, that's his iteration of the character. He's actually Nomad in that moment. Could it be we're getting a pre-sequel series? We show what happened with Captain America in that time, or as a way of crossing him over with a different character that needs to be introduced? Something like a Wolverine. Again, purely speculation, and there have been other characters to carry the Nomad mantle. However, the most important character, and the first one to carry it, would be arguably Steve Rogers, Captain America, and with the rumor of him signing on for for some sort of project that could be a prequel on Disney Plus, and this series title rumored for Disney Plus, my brain puts the two together. It's hard for me to see how else this would work, but the other character this could possibly be referring to is Riki Barnes, the female Bucky, established in Heroes Reborn Captain America series, now resides in the mainstream Marvel Universe and has befriended the Young Avengers, known as Patriot, in hopes of contacting the new Captain America, the original Bucky, now free from the Winter Soldier program in the comics. So it lines up perfectly, that character, Riki Barnes, lines up perfectly with what's going on in the MCU and some of the characters we've got where the story's at this point. We also know the Young Avengers, characters like Patriot. We were introduced to him during the original Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. It sort of all plays in line. So while my heart goes to a Steve Rogers return so we can see some early Infinity Saga action in between what happened during Civil War and Infinity War, it's highly doubtful they would roll out a new Disney Plus series for a character that's already left like that. And we've already heard from Chris Evans, he'll only return to the role if it makes a lot of sense for the character because they, quote unquote, as he put it, stuck the landing. I don't think he's coming back for a Disney Plus Nomad series. Just don't see it. Riki Barnes is probably who they're tapping there. And then the last title on this list is Secret Warriors, which really has me scratching my head a little. Now, I'm vaguely familiar with that team. It's obviously not a team that's at the forefront. It has a lot to do with characters like Nick Fury, Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who we find out was actually an old flame of Nick Fury, and he ends up having to kill her. But then it turns out that she was a Skrull. So this ties into the Young Avengers, the Secret Invasion storyline. The reason this has me scratching my head is it feels like it's a little late. If they already go ahead and do the Secret Invasion storyline followed by the Marvels, we've kind of assumed those will tie into each other, then how in the world are they going to do a Secret Warriors? It's just too late for that film unless they plan on making that a prequel. All the storylines it seems to tie into feel like they've already been put in motion. We've either seen it or are going to see it in the MCU, but Kevin Feige has said here and real recently that there are going to be more prequels in the MCU, and as complicated as things are going to get, sometimes they're going to need explainers or re-explainers for things, sort of retcons. I think prequels, I leave it on the table because I definitely want to see more from more characters. If they are doing a Secret Warriors with Nick Fury in the lead, I have a sneaking suspicion this is going to be a prequel, so we learn who Allegra de Fontaine character is and maybe see some of the lead-up stuff to Secret Invasion. It would only seem to make sense in that context. That's it, guys. Those are the titles listed out by Charles Murphy as sort of being in production at Marvel Studios, something we may hear about 1, 2, or all of these in an upcoming announcement that I've speculated. They've done one every year. It was San Diego Comic-Con 2019 during the summer. 2 years ago, and then although it was looking like last year we wouldn't get one, we got that huge slate reveal for the rest of Marvel Phase 4 at the end of 2020. If they do the same for us this December in 2021, it'll still be one a year. Guys, let me know all your thoughts for all of these franchises down below, your reaction, what you're most excited about, any thoughts for things they should do, shouldn't do, characters you're hearing about you want to see, characters you haven't heard mentioned yet, things like a Silver Surfer series. Let me know all your thoughts down below, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Still giving away a PlayStation 5 as well as Disney Plus subscriptions weekly while the shows are live, and we'll be announcing some brand new MCU related giveaways when the shows go live. What If goes live in just a couple of weeks. So if you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me over on Twitter and Instagram at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple Music, iTunes, wherever you find original music with some songs of my own under the name All Fires. Thanks for checking out the channel, guys, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.